Amen. It's so good to see you guys here this morning. Amen. I'm Joseph Daniels III. I grew up here. I see so many familiar faces and family here. I talk about you guys all the time, everywhere I go, whether it's North Carolina, Findlay, Ohio, or Fayetteville, Arkansas. You guys are always on my mind, always on my heart, and I'm thankful for all the work that you all continue to do. I thank you for the love that you show me all the time and everything that I have going on. It's an interesting journey I'm going on in Fayetteville, Arkansas, but I'm thankful for your support, your love, your constant prayers. Thank you. And I said this to 845 this morning. When we talk about social justice and we talk about fighting for change, fighting for equality, fighting for equal opportunity, it's a fight that has no path, no direction. It's a fight that has no manuscript. It's a fight that has no guidelines. So when you're sitting there thinking, oh, I got to figure out how to get this place, or I got to figure out, no, if you see an issue, you attack the issue. When you see an issue, you figure out how to do it as you're going. You make it up as you go. Dr. King didn't sit around for the bus boycott to figure out what to do. If you remember, it was only a one-day boycott. It became a one-week boycott. And 381 days later. So don't think that you have to have it all figured out. Just go out and get it done. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. So, as you all know, we're on the preaching series, Facing the Future. Unafraid, Facing the Future. Unafraid. Christian read so beautifully this morning. I want to read it again. So if you can turn to Joshua 1:6 through 9, you can stay seated if you would like. Joshua 1:6 through 9. This is God's command to Joshua. He says, "Be strong and courageous, for you are the one who will lead these people to possess the land I swore to their ancestors I would give them. Be strong and very courageous. Be careful to obey all the instructions Moses gave you. Do not deviate from them, turning to the right or to the left. Then you will be successful in everything that you do. Study this book of instruction continually. Meditate on it day and night, so you will be sure to obey everything written in it. This is my command. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go." Be strong and courageous. Be strong and very courageous. Be strong and courageous. Be strong and courageous. My assignment this morning as we build on facing the future, unafraid, is to dive into God's command of his servant Joshua, of his servant Joey, of his servants here in Emory. Dive into this command of Joshua. Be strong and courageous. So to prepare the scene for us this morning, in these last few weeks, we have dealt with Joshua's transition into leadership as he has been summoned by God to lead his people, lead this nation, the people of Israel, into the promised land. Moses has taken them far enough. He has taken them as far as he could, taking them out of slavery in Egypt, taking them through wandering in the wilderness, bringing them now camped on the east side of the Jordan, bringing them to their brink of destiny, to their brink of victory, to their brink of great rest. In Moses' final days, he instructs the people of Israel that God will go before them and deliver on his promise. He likewise instructs Joshua, his mentee, his successor, that he is the one who has been commissioned, who has been called, who is ready to lead this nation into Canaan, into the promised land. In Deuteronomy 31:7 through 8, Moses says to Joshua and the witness of Israel, "Be strong and courageous, for you are the one who will lead these people into the land I swore to their ancestors I would give them. Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord will personally go ahead of you. He will be with you. He will not fail you nor abandon you." So after Moses dies and the mourning period comes to an end, we hear God speak, telling Joshua, the time is now. The time is now. Your time is now, Joshua. Your time is now, Emory. Your time is now. Lead my people into the land I am giving them. Lead my people to the hill, the kingdom on the hill I am giving them. Get up, Joshua. Morning is over. Get up, Joshua. You have passed all of your training modules, and I know you are prepared. Get up, Joshua, because you are the one who has been called. Get up, go, claim all that I have for you and yours, and know that I will be with you. As I was with Moses, I will be with you. I will not fail you or abandon you. Right here in Joshua 1, this constant reassuring charge to Joshua. I had to sit with this thing because it didn't really make too much sense. He's telling Joshua, the servant, Joshua, the one who's been obedient his whole entire life, telling this guy, Joshua, God, he said, be strong and courageous. So it is evident to me in the text, it's evident in the text that Joshua is afraid. His confidence is taking a hit. The demands of the job are finally being weighed down on his shoulders. He is not feeling the responsibility of 3 million men, women, and children. Oh, I can only imagine the uncertainty, the anxiety, the timidity, the unsure feeling of self-worth for being up for this daunting, overwhelming task. Feeling of self-worth for having to deny the hatred and discrimination going on in our world right now. Having to be up to this daunting task of trying to figure out what to do with the President Trump. What to do. But as we found last week, in the midst of mourning, in the midst of self-doubt, in the midst of transition, God has and will unveil his plan. Yeah. We found last week that when we decide to serve a big God, when we decide to serve a big God, Emory, when we decide to serve a big God, God will elevate us to accomplish big things. Yes, sir. So God has told Joshua through Moses, and God is commanding Joshua now, be strong and courageous. As we move into this repetitive command found in verse 6 through 7, I want to speak from the sub-theme, didn't I tell you? Didn't I tell you? You probably heard this growing up from a mom or dad or a relative or guardian. I can hear it now. Boy, didn't I tell you to take out the trash? Boy, didn't I tell you to clean your room? I'm sure you heard this. I know for me, I always appreciate the time I get to speak with my Uncle Robert J. Brown, a pioneer for African Americans all over the world. I appreciate the teachable moments he shared with me as I went through my undergraduate education at North Carolina A&T State University. As I continue to go through my graduate degree at the University of Arkansas, I enjoy sharing with him my achievements and my milestones, but even more importantly, I enjoy sharing with him and talking to him about politics, about the state of the black man in these United States of America, about issues surrounding police brutality and voting rights, about fighting to build race relations in the South. I can recall a conversation we had mid to last July. It was after the police killings of Alton Sterling and Philando Castile. I was preparing a petition urging a non-profit organization called Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue to publicly condemn the flying and displaying of the Confederate flag in the state of Arkansas. And Arkansas, that used to be the Confederacy. To condemn the flying and displaying of this flag symbolizes hatred and oppression. I remember picking up the phone and saying, I started this petition because I speak with the mayor, asking him if he would condemn the flag, he was sorry. There's nothing I can do. I said, I didn't call my city council meeting. I said, sir, can you help me? I'm trying to condemn the flying of the Confederate flag. He said, I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do. I contacted the director of this nonprofit. He said, I'm sorry. So he didn't say sorry. He never even responded. to me, huh? He didn't even respond to me, huh? So all I have left is this petition. I've never done a petition before. It probably won't work. Matter of fact, it won't even work. It probably won't work. He chuckled. He laughed at me, y'all. He giggled and had a long pause, but he broke the silence by saying, "Boy, didn't I tell you? Didn't I tell you? You gotta trust him. I dare you to trust him. If you're strong and courageous, you can do all things. You gotta be strong and courageous." So that brings me to point number one. I hear God speaking as he has commanded Joshua. He has commanded us. Didn't I tell you to get out of your own way? Didn't I tell you to get out of your own way? I hear God saying, so point number one, get out of your own way. Too often God is trying to use us to lead like he is asking Joshua. Use us to build our community, take us to places where we can be pruned, snipped, molded, and shaped in order for us to change lives through politics, change lives through the law, change lives through the gospel, change lives through entrepreneurship, through teaching, through STEM education. But we are often so afraid to take the first step that we end up getting in our own way.
Yes.
So God is demanding of Joshua to be strong and courageous because he doesn't want fear to prevent Joshua from taking the first step. Doesn't want fear to prevent Joshua. So let's look at what happens when we allow fear to get in our way, when we do not allow God's command of being strong and courageous to take over us, when we allow fear to cause us to get in our own way. If we look through the book of Numbers, through chapter 13 and 14, it explains the Israelites' first attempt to enter into Canaan, the promised land. God has instructed 12 leaders, one from each ancestral tribe, to scout out and explore the land that they will soon possess. Explore the land of Canaan. And in their scouting report, they affirmed that this was a land of surplus. Yes, a land flowing with milk and honey. Yes, a land with free Wi-Fi. A land with unlimited organic fruits from the tree. A land flowing with NFL Sunday ticket. A land flowing so we can always get what we have. To get a land with an immaculate infrastructure. But 10 of the 12 scouts got in their way. They saw the people who currently inhabited the land. They saw their size, they saw their power, they saw their strength. They saw Donald Trump get in the office. They saw him get in with a potential help from Putin. They feared all the things that could have happened because of these people, these strong people, these descendants of Anak. They concluded that they were not strong enough to take over the land, even though it was the land promised to them by God. By getting in their own way, they took their eyes off of all the mighty and powerful things that God has done. They forgot about the God who freed them from slavery through Egypt. They forgot about the God who led them out of Egypt through a pillar of cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night. They forgot about the power of God who parted the Red Sea. Let's take that. Let's stay right there. The Red Sea. Imagine if you part a body of water that's sitting on mud. He even parted the land and they went to freedom on dry land. He cared enough about it to let them go on dry land. They forgot about the fact that they were able to cross the river on dry land easily and comfortably. When you get in your own way, it's easy to lose sight or catch amnesia about how powerful, how almighty, how sovereign our God has been. The fear of the scouting report, I'm still here in Numbers. The fear of their scouting report caused Israel to rebel against God, and thus the people were punished. The people were condemned. The people were left to wander in the wilderness for a very long time. So God is telling Joshua, the one who has been a true servant, the one who has kept the faith, the one who has experienced God's almighty power, the one who has been obedient in the midst of rebellion, to that Joshua, God is saying, be strong and courageous. Don't let fear of leading these people overwhelm you, for you are the one who will lead these people. Just get out of your own way, Joshua, and get into my way. Be strong and courageous as I reflect on my life. And since how this is relevant to me, you got to put your name in the text. You got to put your name in the place of Joshua. God is saying, Joe, you got to be strong and courageous and get out of your own way. I reflect on the fear of not only taking on a PhD program in engineering, where only 1% of all those who graduate with a PhD every year, only 1% of those is black. I fear going into a PhD program in engineering. Not only that, I fear going to Arkansas. Fear going to Arkansas, a state that led the way in lynchings in the South. Going to a city 45 minutes west where there's an active headquarters of the KKK. I reflect on the fear I had in leaving a historically black university and being one of the only black students in my program. I reflect on the conversation I had with my father going through Sligo Creek Park saying, Joe, have you been called by God to go to Arkansas? I said, has anybody been called to go to Arkansas? In that reflection, I stand here today as a witness that if you get out of your own way and you're strong and courageous and you get in the way of God, He will do things in your life that you could never imagine. You will never ever imagine, because he used me last year as a keynote speaker at a Martin Luther King vigil at the University of Arkansas to ignite a movement to love. To love, a united movement to love. He used me to bring together communities and occupations together to have courageous conversations about race. He used me. He through strength and courage, God was able to use me to push this flag condemning petition through every local media outlet in Northwest Arkansas, giving me the platform to speak on social injustice, speak on social inequality, speak on the things that we need to build our community and work together to build community. Through this petition, He allowed me to push it against hatred and division through the joint student synod at the University of Arkansas, where the chancellor came in and trucked all of them and said we will not fly the Confederate flag on any of our premises across Fayetteville. Push this love-seeking and community-building petition in order to fight for inclusion, fight for equality, fight for the ability to eliminate fear as we continue in Northwest Arkansas to face the future unafraid. So Emory, when we get out of our own way and we get into the way of God, we face the future knowing that the God we serve is the same God who kept this church open. In 1992, kept this church open when it was trying to close on 3 occasions and be sold on 2 separate occasions. The same God who continues to build and grow this church when back then there were more condoms and beer bottles and syringes on our premises than members in our own church. When we get out of our own way and into the way of God, we face the future knowing that the God we serve is the same God who allows this church to provide support for families through our transitional housing program, help develop children in our community through Bridges Academy, support our members through financial support when they're having financial difficulties. He is the same God, y'all. The same God who has kept our edifice after multiple fires and issues with our boiler. When we get out of our own way and into the way of God, we face the future knowing that the God we serve is the same God in 2006 who introduced a capital campaign with the goal of raising money to establish Canaan on the hill, establish the promised land on the hill in order for us to be able to be a beacon of light to shine brighter for those in and across our city. He is the same God 10 years later. That has brought us through financial setbacks, through political setbacks, through the surge of gentrification and the dead weight of human capital. He is the same God who has kept us together and continues to grow us even here in an all-purpose room. So as we face the future, especially our future as a church, our future in the change of a political administration, our future that demands justice and equality, our future that demands constant advancement in race and religious relations, our future that must demand continued efforts in seeking agape love. As we face that future, unafraid, we have to get out our own way and get into God's way and let God use us to be strong and courageous. Point number 2, I hear God saying in his command to Joshua, I hear God saying in his command to us, did not tell you to stay connected. Did not tell you to stay connected to me. Joshua, you got to stay connected. Point number 2. Stay connected. He tells Joshua in the text, verse 7 and 8, be careful to obey all the instructions Moses gave you. All the instructions Moses gave you. Do not deviate from them, turning to the right or to the left. He said, Joshua, meditate on my word day and night, so you will be sure to obey everything written in it. Only then will you prosper and succeed in all you do. Stay connected. We can learn in God's charge to Joshua that our connectivity to God is vital for 2 things. 1, for our growth and sustained strength and courage, and 2, for lifelong success. Yes, sir. So for number 1, strength and courage and in the power of God, strength and courage in our faith, faith and courage and our trust in God is an ever-developing practice as we go along our spiritual journey. It is cultivated through studying the Word. It is cultivated through fasting and praying, through praise and worship in times of triumph, and praise and worship in times of tribulation. Strength and courage is cultivated when we confront our test with faith and obedience, and rejoice in our testimony by sharing how good God is. Too often at the first sign of adversity, we end up catching amnesia, like we said before, amnesia to what God has done to get us where we are today. It was that loss of connection that caused the Israelites to rebel against God. It is that loss of connection that causes us to be scared and afraid of a President Trump. It is that loss of connection that causes us to be worried and fearful of the changes of health care. It is that loss of connection that has weakened our conviction in the face of sin, weakened our voices in the faces of hatred and discrimination and exploitation. When we face the future and we are not connected, our blessings can be denied or deferred, like the words of the people of Israel. When we face the future and we are not connected, we enter into an unwanted period of wandering. When we face the future and we are not connected, we may move when God is telling us to stand still, telling us to move. Facing the future unafraid, you gotta have strength, you gotta have courage. It comes from being connected to God. It comes from being constantly plugged in. You plug in your phone, plug in your faith, plug in your courage, plug in your strength, plug in the ability to think, plug in all the possibilities that God can bring us to. Because when we are fully connected, we do not fear President Trump, because we know from Isaiah 54:17, no weapon formed against us shall prosper. When we are fully connected, we find solace in the midst of various cabinet appointees, because God promised in Genesis 12:3, He would bless those who bless us and curse those who cursed us. When we are fully connected, we do not allow hatred and discrimination to steal our peace, steal our joy, because we know from Romans 8:39, nothing can separate us from the love of God that is in Jesus Christ. When we are fully connected, we have the confidence in facing the future unafraid. Philippians 4:13. We can do all things through Christ Jesus who strengthens us. So God is telling Joshua, stay close to me, Joshua. Stay close to me, Joshua. Stay close to me, Emory. So as you face this journey, as you face this future, a future amassed with inevitable distractions and temptations and disobedience, a future amassed with fear and fatigue, you will have the strength and courage to remain focused on the plan that God has for you. You will have the strength and the courage to obey my commands when the world seeks to tempt you. You will have the strength and courage to face the future with active prayer. Face the future with anointing and face the future with power.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Likewise, I said we had two things. Likewise, connection to God for strength and courage is vital for lifelong success. In the text, God says, meditate on my word day and night so you will be sure to obey everything written in it. Only then.
Only then.
Only
Only then.
then. Study my word day and night. Only then will you prosper and succeed in all you do. Connection is vital for lifelong success. I'm happy to see my classmate here who went to A&T with me, Allison Town. I'm excited to see you. Thanks for coming. As a doctoral student in structural engineering, I've had the opportunity to learn and practice structural steel design. She was in my class. I had the opportunity to work with her on a class project where we had to design a steel structure that would take certain load combinations and configure them through all the beams and columns and be able to create a foundation that would be able to support all the loads from the snow, from the wind, from the dead loads to the live loads, everything with this steel structure. But it wasn't until graduate school that I figured out that the most significant, the most critical aspect of steel design is the connection. That's right. The most vital thing is the connection in a structure. The connection pieces are conservatively designed because if they fail, the structure fails. If the connection fails, the structure fails. No, if the connection fails, yes, the structure might not fall down, but it loses structural integrity. It loses its integrity. So in order for structure to remain erect and to serve its intended design life, its connection must maintain its strength.
Yes, sir.
So God has promised us that if we stay connected and grow our strength, grow our courage, and if we stay connected so that we can be fully developed and sustain our integrity, we will succeed in all we do and face our future unafraid.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Lastly, point number 3, lastly, I hear God saying in his command to Joshua, I hear God saying in his command to us, did not tell you that victory is in my command. Did not tell you that victory is in my command. Point number 3, victory is in God's command. God's command to Joshua, be strong.
Be strong.
And courageous. Be strong and courageous. The best qualification that Joshua had was that he was able to spend 40 years with Moses as his assistant. Within that 40 years, in the midst of fear across the nation, in the midst of having to leave Egypt, in the midst of having to wander in the wilderness, he witnessed the strong and courageous leadership of Moses. In the midst of chaos and disobedience, he witnessed the strength and courage that Moses possessed, where on many occasions he had to plead with God to forgive the Israelites for their wrongdoing. In the midst of even death, he witnessed Moses' strength and courage and God to effectively and tactfully transition his leadership and realign the people with God, even when he was told that he won't be able to get to the promised land. There is victory in his command to be strong and courageous. Like Joshua, we have several examples throughout our history, several examples here in this church to be strong and courageous, and how the victory we can achieve when one is strong and courageous, the victory we can achieve when one gets out of their own way, the victory we can achieve when we stay connected and face the future with strength and courage. I am reminded of a segregated Montgomery, Alabama in 1955. I'm reminded of the strong and courageous civil rights leaders there in Montgomery who implemented and continued a bus boycott in the quest of fair treatment, in the quest of equal rights. But I'm reminded today of Mother Pollard. You might not know Mother Pollard. Mother Pollard was our Miss Norma. Mother Pollard was our Miss Hermine. Mother Pollard was our Miss Bowdy, who at an old age refused to take the bus for any of those 381 days, revealing in her strength, revealing her courage, and her infamous quote, "My feet is tired, but my soul is rested." Victory is in his command. When you get out of your own way, I'm reminded of Dr. King as we celebrate his birthday on today. I'm reminded of Dr. King in the strength and courage he possessed through God to maintain a nonviolent philosophy, even when segregationists bombed their home. I'm reminded of the strength and courage he possessed through God to preach and teach about agape love, love that is understanding, creative, and of good will and redemption in the midst of social, political, and economic injustice. I'm reminded of my Uncle Robert J. Brown, who took the dare from his grandmother and applied it to his entire life, who took the dare to trust in God and be strong and courageous. I am reminded of an Uncle Robert who had to sleep in his car as he tried to build his business because blacks in those days couldn't stay at the hotel. I'm reminded of this giant when in the days trying to build his business, he only had one semester of undergraduate under his belt. I'm reminded of the strength and courage he possessed through God. And he has enabled him to work in the White House and demand equal opportunities for blacks all across the branches in government. He enabled him to produce a business, a brand, a company that is now the model for PR firms all across the world. Enabled him to personally enhance the lives of millions of people across the globe. Victory is in his command. I could go on and on because we have so many stories of how victory is in his command. When you get out of your own way, when you stay connected and you be strong and courageous. I am reminded of a cousin named David Bruce Rogers, a cousin that I only knew as a quadriplegic. I am reminded of David, who while in the process of finishing his residency in research in medical genetics and pediatrics at UCLA Medical School, I'm reminded of the fact that a tire on the highway bounced over a median and crushed him in the car, crushing his spine, leaving him off for dead. But I'm reminded of that same David who was able to sit in the hospital while he was paralyzed, sit in the hospital while he was thought to be washed out and unimportant in life, and sit there with the ability to move his hand and the ability to move his hand. He was able to pass his medical board examination on the first try. On the first try, because he was strong and courageous in all that he had in God. Because of that, he was able to do more in 30 years than most people do in a lifetime. Because of that, God allowed him to produce pediatric genetic research that has gained worldwide attention. In order to help children with rare diseases all across the world. Oh, I can go on. Because I had to keep the show. I can go on and on because victory is in his command. I am reminded of a church named Emory. Reminded of a church in 2006 who took a leap of faith through strength and courage and started a capital campaign to build a beacon center that would change the lives of people in and all across the city. I'm reminded of the strength and courage to move forward through financial challenges, changes in leadership, and disappointing setbacks. I'm reminded of our strength and our courage when we showed up in droves at both prehistoric hearings. I'm reminded of the daily prayer Ms. Terry is coordinating as we go up to the hill and pray that God's will be done. Victory is in his command. I am reminded of the multiple delays we faced through this 10-year journey that developed our strength, developed our courage, and our ability to follow these 3 P's. You know, the 3 P's. Come on, persistence, patience, and prayer. Now we are building, we are constructing Canaan on the hill, the promised land on the challenges ahead. But in this journey, in this journey, in this journey, we've gotten out of our own way and into God's way. In this journey, we have stayed connected to God, even while worshiping in an all-purpose room. In this journey, we now have the experience. In this journey, we now have the tenacity. In this journey, we now have the power to do whatever we have to do to see that Canaan is erected. In this journey, so we can now move forward by continuing to be strong, continuing to be courageous, and face the future unafraid. So as I close, as we are into this new year, 2017, and you are worried about taking the first step at your job, worried about taking the first step at school, worried about taking the first step in family reconciliation, worried about the first step in community building and young adult development, worried about taking the first step in getting active in politics. God is saying, did not tell you, get out of your own way. So people of God, get out of your own way as we are into this new year, 2017, and you have found yourself drifting. You found yourself wandering aimlessly, filled with worry about what will happen on Friday, January 20th. God is saying, did not tell you to stay connected to me. So people of God, stay connected. And if you were wondering how you were going to face the future unafraid, just know that victory, joy, and peace is in his command. His command for us to be strong and courageous. Dr. King said this in his speech in front of the Capitol building as they finished their march from Selma to Montgomery. He says, for all of us today, the battle is in our hands. The road ahead is not altogether a smooth one. There are no broad highways to lead us easily or inevitably to quick solutions. We must keep on going. We must be strong and courageous, for our God is marching on. Amen.